Hello, I'm Rico Cavilla, and welcome to Fearless Aging, where in every episode, my guests and we strive to offer you proven tips and strategies that you can implement immediately to greatly improve your overall health and well-being. So we're here to inspire you and empower you to become your best self so you can go out and make a bigger positive difference in the world. Now, I'm really excited about today's show. It's going to be a unique show, something that we really haven't talked about before. And the title of today's episode is The Energy Secrets of Cirque du Soleil, Circus du Soleil. We're going to discover the incredible energy techniques that power the well-renowned Cirque du Soleil performers. And our expert guest today is Natan Verhosky. He's an elite energy coach. He has worked with professional athletes and corporations since 1997, and over 15,000 people have come through his best-selling, have, 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 have used his best-selling books and courses in the past 30 years. So, energy coach Natan, thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure. Thank you, Rico, for having me. What a treat.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm really interested. I know
I'm
you have,
excited.
yeah. So be sure. I want to tell our audience to be sure and stay tuned to the end because you're going to demonstrate two or three of your top energy techniques that anybody can do that you have coached all these performers do. And so I just want to say this is so timely as the Olympics are going on right now, and
Cool,
it's
eh?
yeah, and it's just so amazing how all these athletes can stay mentally focused and energized and positive when all the pressure's on them, and they worked so many years so hard to get there. I mean, I don't know how they do it. It's pretty amazing. So that's why we're going to learn some things that how they do it, and then how we can also apply it just in our everyday life, so we can have peak performances as well. So I guess
Amen.
my yeah. So my first question for you is first of all is I mean, how did you get into being an energy coach in the first place? Tell us a little bit
Hmm.
about that.
Back in another life, back in the day, my family just came over. I immigrated twice, once from Russia to Calgary, Alberta, and then the second time from Calgary over to Montreal, kind of like San Francisco to New York.
Okay.
Cross country, completely different world, completely different vibe.
Yeah.
And in that, I came here, came to university, and was just going through different things and really trying to see what would stick. My dad, he was over at Cirque du Soleil as one of their head coaches and a director, design and
Uh,
performance. And so I had a chance to come in after I got my medical hypnotherapy diploma back in 97 to come in and work one on one with some elite athletes, just very private, off the books, off the records, in the corner with some of the coolest people there, dozens and dozens. And over those next couple of years was really focused behind the scenes, helping those that had emotional energy being wasted, too nervous, too tense, and you're just robbing yourself of that emotional reserve, you know, by keeping yourself rigid and tense, by having those emotional thoughts or those physical reactions, or even the mental nagging, recurring, constant thoughts. And so, working through those, we were able to come up with a couple dozen mental, physical, and emotional drills. Very simple, very clean, less than 5 minutes. Doesn't matter if you're a boy, girl, young, old, elite athlete, or a new person. It's a construct. And so they're built around getting a very clean, very simple, desired result. The part on the background is kind of in brackets, you're meant to know what level of energy you're supposed to be at. So if you're about to go start a run and you know that you should be at around a 3 or 4 out of 10 so that you're not wasting energy, and you give yourself a pulse check and you see that you're at a 7 or 8, you've got some nervous, anxious, anxiety, some nervous energy, you might want to get rid of that instead of let it rob you of your reserves. So we do this exercise because you're too up. If you're too low before the next marathon, and you're like, instead of just granola bars or whatever else you'd use to pump up, there would be some other kind of exercise you could do, and that exercise would give you more energy. The other one would calm you down. This other one in third place would take away some of that anxiety.
well, let me ask you. I mean, how did you develop this when you first uh, got called brought on to work with them, I mean, how did you feel? I mean, how did you feel like you knew what? How did you learn what you thought would really work and would help people? How did you apply that in your own? Did you apply that in your own life, or I mean, how did you
Absolutely.
come up with that? With it?
I classically studied. My mom was a medical hypnotherapist, had a $10,000 library of books and videos and
Uh,
stuff. And so
uh,
I was at home curious about peak performance, looking at the best of the best in the world.
mm,
Because, you want to audition for Cirque du Soleil, you better have an Olympic gold medal
mhm.
in something. Probably gymnastics would be smart. And even after that, they ask you to empty your cup, start again. Because while you may be really good at triple twisting, triple backflips, you don't know how to put on makeup. You don't know how to act in a troupe. You don't know stage dynamics. So there's so much to learn. That's where people need to get comfortable being uncomfortable because you're in a completely new place. It's fish out of water, but somehow you're breathing and you need to just be okay with that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about. I mean, we all experience that, and we don't have to be an Olympic athlete or be a performer really of any kind. But although life is a performance, right? We're always are performing, no matter what we're doing, right? So I know what you have to offer really applies to everybody, no matter what you're doing. And but let's talk just a little bit about the psychology of it. It is, I mean, we all have that. We all get a little tense or nervous.
Sure.
It's just like, what, in the time I always wondered, uh, why people have such fear of public speaking,
Mm,
because I don't know if I told you this before, uh, is that I grew up stuttering, and 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 when you stutter, you become really introverted because
yeah.
you're not
You're
able
self
to.
conscious. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not able to express yourself, and
Yeah.
it can be everything. Most people are subconscious over something.
Yep.
And so everybody experiences those things, and so I guess our life experiences is really about how to overcome those the kind of experiences. So uh, what I'm curious about, what I'm trying to get at is, I mean, we all experience that in every different levels of our life. So talk a little bit about the mechanics of that. I mean, I think it's actually there. Stress is actually there. It actually gives us energy to perform. So talk a
Mhm.
little bit about the psychology of how that works, and how fear just pops up in all of us, but how we can overcome that.
Okay. So I'll talk about it in two ways. One is imposter syndrome, and the other one is really looking at what is the most emotionally draining thing that can happen to you and why that's stronger than anything else. So for imposter syndrome, it's a pretty simple example. If you're in a hospital and you look down and you've got a doctor's, gown on and a stethoscope around your name and a name tag, if that name tag is your name, that's not imposter syndrome. You know, you deserve this. You're a doctor. You're in residency. You should be there. If you look down and it's not your name, that's also not imposter syndrome. That's fraud. Get the hell out of the hospital. You stole some doctor's outfit. So one way or another, there really is no imposter syndrome in that sense. As soon as you identify it, take a deep breath and get to terms with it, very, very different what happens with that. The
Yeah.
other thing is, go ahead, sorry.
No, no, go ahead.
The other would be if we're looking at what is the most taxing. So let's say you get physically hurt. Physically hurt is annoying. Ow, this hurts. Okay, now this ow is tense and tight and it bothers you and it nags you and it'll constantly, draw your attention to it. Yes. But if you wanted to take over something mental that was bothering you, you'd look for something physical. So if you're mentally getting this recurring nagging thought, just drop down and do 10 push-ups. Your body will be like, holy crap, we can do this? I don't know. But it completely changed its thought pattern. It's no longer focusing on that nagging recurring thought, and now it's focusing on the physical. If you have a physical ailment, ow, my leg hurts, you need to go to an emotional place because this is like paper, rock, scissor, and one always beats the other. So if you have a physical pain, you can get over that with an emotional. Watch a movie, laugh. Any of these kind of things can override physical pain because they're emotional. Emotional is more powerful than physical. If you doubt that, go the negative way. If you ever gotten a piece of good news, you could be, elated. But if you ever got a piece of horrible, knock on wood, heaven forbid news, it can just knock your knees out, drop you, um, make you lose bowel control. You can just completely pass out. So the negative side has so much incredible impact, and it's only emotional impact. When we
Well,
look at mental, it's nagging, but it's nothing. 10 push-ups and I won't think about that thought anymore. But what about if my knee hurts and I can't do the 10 push-ups now? Now what? Now you need something emotional.
yeah, I got that. So what I'm hearing is when it's when it's when it's emotional, when it's mental, you got to do something physical to overcome that. And the other way around, if it's physical, then you got to do some kind of mental exercise to get past the
No, if it's
physical.
physical, you got to do something emotional.
Yeah, emotional. Yeah,
And if it's emotional, then you got to do something mental. So it beautifully plays itself in that little three-part
yeah.
spiral. So
Well,
that's the mechanism behind why.
yeah. Well, let me ask you, why is it that they say that we have all these thoughts all the time, and the vast majority of them are negative. We're Why do we always go someplace of negativity and fear instead of naturally going to some place of not being fearful and being positive? Why do you think that is?
Because it's easier to prove something's going to be wrong than prove that something's going to be right.
Okay, maybe that's probably true.
So if we know that, if we're going to be ultimate people, nobody gets out of this life alive.
Yeah.
So in that sense, something negative will happen to you at the end. And if you know and you judge every experience from now until then against that,
Hmm.
it leans more towards negative. And that's where people are like, oh, you know what? If I want to find proof of something negative, it's very clicking around you.
Yeah, I see
Equally
that.
easy is the positive.
Yeah.
I'm a glass half full kind of a guy.
Mm.
So I know that you are as well. And because of that, I see the positive all around. I acknowledge the negative, but I don't see it and feel it the same way as I do the positive. I live and breathe and feel the positive. I see the positive.
That's so good. All right, so we're going to take a short 1 minute break, and when we come back, I'm excited. We're going to learn. Latan's going to give us those exercises that we can do as well as all these Olympic performers do as well. So, hello, I'm Rico Cavella, creator of the Ageless Living Lifestyle. If you are concerned about premature aging and you want to avoid disease and old age, and you want to live a more healthy, energetic, and vital long life, I have proven solutions for you. So, number one, go to agelessliving.lifestyle.com and take our aging quiz to see how well you are doing. And number two, book your free coaching session with me to discuss your wellness challenges, and I promise to get you going on the right track. You can transform your health and your life, and I can help. Okay, we are back with our guest, Natan Verkovsky, Elite Energy Coach. So we've been talking about how we all face all these fears and negativity things, and we want to be able to hold us back from performing at our
Mhm.
best. And so he's going to show us now. Natan's going to demonstrate some energy techniques that he teaches that he has taught, like to the Cirque du Soleil performers and all kind of different athletes and things, so they can uh, perform at their highest level. So, all right, Natan, take it away.
Let's do this. So we're going to learn a mental, a physical, and an emotional drill.
Great.
Each one takes maximum a minute or two to do. I'll take a minute now to explain them, but in practice, as you do them and as you get more familiar and comfortable in practice doing them, they get smoother and easier. They're exercises that you can do if you had a bunch of people standing around you in the subway, or if you're in the bathroom by yourself, or if you're behind the curtain about to go on stage. So they need to be quick, they need to be quiet, and they need to be impactful.
Mm.
First one we're going to do is mental. This one's called a biofeedback breathing exercise. What we're going to do is synchronize our brain, our breathing, counting, and just relaxing through that process. We're going to find our pulse, and then we're going to inhale for 3 beats, hold for 3 beats, exhale for 3 beats, hold for 3 beats, and we're going to repeat that whole cycle 3 times. That's the entire exercise. So, step one, find your pulse.
Got mine.
Good. In through the nose, out through the mouth, close your eyes, and 3 beats in. Hold for 3, out. Hold for 3. In. Hold. Out. Hold. Last one. And
Yeah,
how
I
do you
like
feel
that.
now?
It really, I noticed that my pulse actually slowed down. So that's really
Quickly?
good. You know, what's unique about that, Natan, is that's kind of similar to like what's called a box breathing, you know, like in yoga, where you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, exhale and
Yes.
hold. But
Yes.
but when you touch it onto your pulse and you're breathing along with your pulse, I think that's what makes it more effective. That's really cool.
Yes. Thank you. And somebody did mention to me before, it's like box breathing. I said, sure. I said, that's a big
Yeah,
benefit. It's not the point whether it's 3 beats or 4 beats or 67
yeah,
beats. The point is that if you're connected, that's why it's called a biofeedback
hmm,
breathing exercise, not just an exercise. The
yeah,
biofeedback part comes, let's say you were nervous as heck right now, anxious, bothered, just really irritated, mad, anything. Your
hmm,
beat would be bum 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 bum. If you were really relaxed, it'd be bum 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 bum.
yeah,
So if you were already relaxed and you did this biofeedback breathing exercise, you'd get way more relaxed. If you were anxious and nervous, that's why it takes 3 times to go around. Your first breath is probably going to go pretty quick. 1, 2,
yeah.
3, hold. 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, out. 1, 2, 3. Out. Your second one, you'd start to come down, and by the third one, you'd actually be okay. So you can do 2 rounds of this. You can do 3 rounds of this. Know
And
that you're deepening yourself into different states.
yeah, whatever it takes. And I can see how you can apply that to anything. Well, even just like now, if you're going to do an appearance on a TV show, you know,
Yes.
whatever you need, whatever you're going to do, whatever it is, or
Yep.
if you're going to have a discussion with your a business associate or your spouse, you know, do this
Yes.
first. Calm yourself down, and you'll be a much more focused and program. All right, let's go on to the next one.
Good. Next one is going to be a physical one. This is one of the cool ones. So if you're a regular human being and for some reason you're feeling a little clumsy, you're tripping up or down stairs, you're feeling a little off, your body and balance is not working out. You are not connected and you are not grounded and you're clumsy for lack of a better word.
Mhm.
Not cool if you're an Olympian about to go compete,
No.
especially on like a balance beam or something like smaller than your foot. So we physically do a centering drill to physically put us back in alignment. For this, everybody can stand up. Wait, now you'll know whether anyone's wearing pants on Zoom or not. Eh? All right. So from here, stand up. You too, Rico. Jump us. Join us.
I'm gonna be out. I don't. My camera will show me. Okay.
Okay. You're kind
Got
of
my
in.
own.
No, it won't. All right, sit. Don't worry.
Yeah, I better sit down.
Watch this one. It won't work for you.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
So let me get centered here. So feet shoulder width apart, hands hand down. What we're looking for is imagining a stick going through the middle of our head, down our spine, right out our butt, right into the ground. That's the pencil. So this whole thing moves as one, leans as one. There's no bend at the hip. There's no bend forward or backwards. You've got a pencil through you. Now, in that same way, feet shoulder width apart, you're going to be leaning forward as far as you can without losing your balance. You're going to hold it for 3 seconds. You're going to come back to what you feel is center. And you're going to lean back as far as you can. You're going to hold that for 3 seconds. Left, center, right, center, and then we're going to test it to see if we're properly centered. Ready? All right. And forward. If you take a step, it destroys everything. So just start all over again. So go forward. It's not the goal is not to look like Michael Jackson when he's planking in that video and he leans forward all the way. It's
Yeah,
just to
forget
let
that
yourself.
anyway.
It's incredible, right? So
Yeah,
lean forward, straight, straight, straight. Lean forward. 1, 2, 3. Center. Lean back. Straight, straight, straight. Don't lose your balance. Now you're on your heels. 1, 2, 3. Center. Now it gets fun. Now we go forward, center, back center less and less and less and less and less and less and less until we come to our perfect center. And less and less. And this feels right. This feels centered. Now our left. 1, 2, 3. Center. Right. 1, 2, 3. Center. And left. Center. Right. And less and less. So you naturally feel centered. You should feel like you're in a pocket. Now you lean a little forward, a little back, a little left, a little right, and you test it. And let yourself naturally just fall back to where you are. This is perfectly centered.
Yeah. So
Your
just,
clumsiness is gone.
it's like training your body to just find your center, and it just
You're
naturally goes back into it.
recalibrating.
Yeah, recalibrate. That's
You're
really cool.
literally
Yeah,
recalibrating. Yeah.
that's really cool. Yeah, these are all, I've known different things for centering, but you got some unique stuff. I really
Thank you,
like it.
man.
I really like
I,
it.
was,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I tell people that I'm like, if you happen to be at Cirque du Soleil with Olympians in the 90s, yes, maybe you might have been exposed to one of these exercises.
Yeah, that's
But
pretty cool.
odds are pretty good, no, because I learned these studying from the books, from HUNA, from NLP, from neuro-linguistic programming, from Ericksonian um, hypnosis, but also from 40 years in the martial arts that I've done. So for 30 years as a therapist, and I draw on all of those experiences to write the books, to give the programs, to create that one-on-one experience because everybody's different. And that's why we have these curated exercises depending on what you need and when you need it.
Yeah, that's so good.
Thank
Uh,
you.
do we have time for one? Do you have one
We
more that we
do.
can do?
I
Okay,
do.
let's do
This one's
one
a good
more.
one.
Let's do one more.
So we've done a mental one. Now we've done a physical one. This will be an emotional one. This one's very powerful. This is called a mental scream drill. I created this as an anxiety buster. So if you're feeling nervous, anxious, tense in any way, shape, or form out, this is going to do three things. Physically, we're going to be tensing everything from our nose to our toes. Eyes are closed and just tight, tight, tight. Mentally, we're going to be screaming. That's why it's called a mental scream drill, so you don't scare your neighbors. And you just scream in your mind, but you can scream as long and as loud and as hard as you need to.
Yeah, it's a silent scream.
Correct. So it's a mental scream in your head. You're
Yeah,
physically tensing your body as hard as you can.
yeah.
And emotionally, you're going to be going through something, and I'll walk you through that.
Okay.
And the cool part is kind of like the biofeedback breathing. If you're anxious, it'll take quickly. If you're not anxious, it'll take longer. This one's also directed on based on how you feel. So if you're coming into this and you're feeling, hey, I'm not really, really anxious, no problem. If you are, this will give you a huge release in less than a minute.
Great.
Starts with biofeedback breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, hold in the middle, close the eyes. Second, last one. Imagine every breath that you take, a ball of energy gets tighter and tighter from your throat, going down and moving right to the base of your stomach. In it is negativity. It's black. It's just awful. And it's got everything inside it. And as it gets closer and closer to your stomach, start to curl your toes, start to curl your nose, start to curl your hands, and get tighter and tighter. And bring it down and make it tighter and tighter and squeeze it into your stomach, squeeze it into your stomach. This is all the negativity. This is all the pain, the shame, the hate. This is all the hurt. This is everyone that you've ever screwed. This is everyone who's ever screwed you. This is everything that you can squeeze and tighten that ball lower, lower, lower. Bring it down and into the base of your stomach and make it tighter and tighter. One more breath. Hold, squeeze your nose, squeeze your hands, squeeze your fingers, your toes, and yell. Scream in your mind as long and as loud and as hard as you have to. And when you can't scream anymore, or if you can't squeeze anymore, you have to let it go. Take a deep breath. Relax your hands, relax your body.
Natan, I'm so sorry. We're out of time.
No
But
worries. That was the end.
that was so good. Thank you so much for that. And we'll put in the description of the show how you can connect with Natan if you'd like to get some coaching from him. Thanks, everybody, for being here. We're out of time.
Awesome.